Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GABNET, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Harlan Ellison totally insisted that there were no sounds in space on Babylon 5. Watching it for 20 minutes will clearly show that there are sounds in space. So what the fuck are you pulling this out of, Mr. Harlan Ellison? That pretty much cemented the idea of who Harlan was in my brain.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern. Join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
You don't think Bill Clinton's a pervert?
No, I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I really don't. I think I think he's a man who let his dick talk for him. You know, I think he's a guy who was pursued by a young woman and should have said no, but he didn't. Now, the only woman I ever talked to that fucked Bill Clinton was Jennifer Flowers. She kept saying during the interview, you know, I really did have sex with Bill Clinton. And I asked her the question, I said, that's not what's important to me. What's important to me was he a gentleman? And she said, he was terrific. She said, every time we'd have sex, the next day he would call and see if I was okay. He never dodged my calls. If I wanted to call him, he was absolute gentleman.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
We now know that Trump doesn't hate all Democrats. He at least likes the Democrats who he perceives to be as crooked as he is.
Ah, wait a minute, ring that bell!
I mean, between Menendez and Blagojevich, you know, who we pardon.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
There's a lot of long-ass games come knockout round because they have to finish. So you have to play up to 120 minutes plus a penalty shootout.
Okay.
Finally, you can get hot and bothered on Connections at 10 p.m. Eastern Monday and by delay Tuesday through Friday at 1 a.m. Eastern.
Many customers have seen a young girl in period clothing. Do it. Just say it. I can't say it. She knows, even though it means something totally different. Immediately she's thinking she's wearing rags.
Bloody Mary.
Come on,
Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary.
That was my own joke. What? Were you looking in the mirror when you did that?
No.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GABNET. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Talk like you've never heard it before is now talk like you've never seen it before. Alex Bennett's Ramble is now in video. Log on to Alex's Facebook page at facebook.com/abennett every Tuesday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern and experience the Citizen Panel like never before. We put a face to people like Phil, Patrick, Renee, Kevin, Tony, Jeff, Bree, Brian, and all of our regulars. And Alex is there too, in his PJs. Just be glad he isn't naked. You can be one of those people who gets seen and not just heard by calling into Skype. For more information on how to Skype us, just go to gabnet.net. You can dress any way you want, provided it's decent. GABNET is now not just talk and not just a pretty face. So why don't you add yours? Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey everybody, how are you? It's Alex Bennett and it is the Ramble. And we go from now until midnight Eastern Daylight Time. And I got to change the picture here. My picture is you see it's off. If you're watching us, some people don't even give a damn. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. But, you know, I could take this and I could pan it over a little bit here. There we go. And then zip it up there. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. A little more tilt upwards. There we go. All right. Now I'm all, you know, every time. The trouble with Microsoft is they never do anything right. Okay? They do things really terribly wrong. And one of the things wrong about Windows is that I have all my settings set here for the program, and then if I reboot Windows, everything comes up cattywampus. So, you know, that's one of the major problems I have. I have all kinds of problems. By the way, I want to thank Jeff last night and Tom. They were the only two people who called this program, and it was a delightful program with them, and I thank them for being here and helping me not be a person who lived out his greatest fear and nobody called. Okay? However, having such a lousy reaction to the program last night in the amount of callers that we got makes me wonder about this whole thing. I mean, this is not to besmirch Tom or Jeff, who were really quite scintillating last night. And I could probably do a show every night with just them, okay? But it just made me kind of think twice about why I do this every night, you know? And maybe some changes that need to take place, but I don't know yet. But I did want to thank them because they were terrific. As for the rest of you, where the fuck were you? Anyway. Okay, so as you know, when you go over to people's homes and they've just gone to Europe, they then pull out all their videos they made, and they're terrible because they're unedited, and you just sit there and see people, you know, for endless hours floating down a river somewhere or whatever, or getting goofy in a way that is not really quite becoming of them. I take home movies and I edit them into a long version of really boring home movies. And so I have one to show you tonight. We went up to Vermont this weekend and we had a few little adventures and a few things that we did. And I thought I went on here and I edited them all. They were all done, by the way, on an iPhone X in 4K. Now, the version that I have here is not in 4K. In fact, I don't know why I can't get it to render in 4K because all the videos were shot in 4K. So I don't know. But anyway, be that as it may, the quality is great. And only a few shots in it, few of them, were shot with a GoPro. The rest was done with 4K and an iPhone X, and then edited as I have edited most of my stuff over the years. In this case with Final Cut Pro, which is a great program done by Apple. So let her rip, and we'll see in about 18 and a half minutes from right now. Okay? Roll it. This is the start of our diary to going to Vermont. You know something? I hate air travel. It's horrible. It's just gotten terrible. I mean, everything about it is just distressing. And by the time you get to your destination, you're so worn out, you have to take 2 days to recover to take a trip back and be in another negative situation. You got to take it out to JFK, you know, a car. That takes forever because the roads are clogged. Then you got to get through TSA, taking off everything that you ever had on your body, and then trying to remember where you put everything. Like, where's my wallet now? And where's my phone now? And then you reassemble yourself on the other side, putting your shoes back on. It is just absolutely dreadful. I remember when you got all dressed up to go flying, and you just ran to the gate and gave them your boarding pass and got on the goddamn plane. Do I sound like an old fart? I think we should have two kinds of of travel. One would be secure travel, and the other would be I'll take my chances. Okay? And then with I'll take my chances, you don't go through, nobody in the I'll take my chances flight has to go through TSA or any of that. And if the plane blows up, so it blows up. Here we are now, crunched into the plane. You know, they do have even more space, but you have to pay for it. And since we're going on a very short flight, I don't care about the space. But if I get there and my legs are crippled, you know. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Missing. I can't hear it because I don't have earphones. I only have Bluetooth.
It's going to be 1 week.
But how do we know? Did they decide that they're actually going to do an effort? No, I guess they have to.
Here they are.
Hi. Hey.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
How are you?
Well, I'm glad. So tonight's for the walk should be nice. It's going to be cool.
Oh, good.
And because once that sun goes down, it's going to be chilly.
Yeah.
So.
Every year they hold this walk for lymphoma and leukemia, and that's where we are, the beginning point of that walk. Just what I like to do, walk. I feel like such a dork.
Why?
I'm wearing this.
So take it off.
Yeah. What the hell?
You're welcome. Must be Halloween. Whoa.
Oh, look at me. I'm walking.
All right, that's a fun thing to do.
Something that's not genuinely a wonderful thing for me. I hate walking. But I'm walking for a cause.
Give me your bell.
Give him something fun to take.
There it is.
There they are. Yeah.
Jason for a hot minute. Which way are you going? This way.
Go fight, win! 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 Go fight, win!
It's morning. Our second day here. It's Saturday. Actually, yesterday was only a half day. And today we're going to go to the polo matches. But right now, look what's going on out on the lake. Here we go. Oh, huh?
Yeah, how about this? I don't we'll have to find out depth.
Is this the first time you've ever been to a polo match?
No.
You've been to a polo
Yeah,
match?
out in the Hamptons.
Out in the Hamptons. Yeah.
Years ago.
There they are. This is their second round, I guess. What do they call it? A match, a round, or
Chucker.
Chucker. Their second chucker. They changed horses because the old horses get older.
Need a rest.
They need a rest. They get older.
She'll go back to that one.
Yeah, yeah. This game certainly has balls.
Here they are.
Yeah. Well, here we are at the polo matches.
Yes.
With all the... With my rad lib feelings, I'm at a polo match.
Peloponnese.
Yeah.
Peloponnese.
The horsey has come to visit.
Here we go again.
So this is the one she ended up buying from. He's beautiful. What's his name? Sirach. Is he like more later?
Oh, is this a different horse than you had before?
How old is this one?
Tailgate party, huh?
It is. They're just getting warmed up now for the party. How many more chuckers we need? One more? Two more. Two more to make a...
Two more chuckers?
A game? Or
a chucker is a...
level, they reduced it so you're only playing 4 chuckers. Right. And that's just make it more affordable. So if you have 2 horses, you basically play 4. That's right. Okay. At the professional level, higher bowl level, they play 6. We just play... how many chuckers we have people and horses. So today we're playing 5.
Oh yeah, okay. There are enough horses.
Times we play 8. Oh, okay. If we have a tournament, it's a 4-bowl tournament. I mean, it's a 4-chucker tournament.
Stand back, Alex.
Come on, guys, quick up! Keep watching, looking at the ball.
You know, they talk about places being God's country. But this is definitely God's country. This is just beautiful. Look at that sky. It's just very dramatic. I love it up here. Remember how yesterday was one of the most beautiful days I've ever seen? Well, here's how variable the weather is in Vermont. I don't know, I seem to have been left all alone. There's nobody in the house. And so I'm just gonna take a little walk just to see what's here. I love things like this. I love the fact that it's like a railroad crossing. I think I'll just stand here till a train comes through and it runs me over. That would be a great ending, wouldn't it? I guess I'd get a major headline out of it. Alex Bennett run over by train. Maybe it's coming in that direction. What we have here is a beautiful, beautiful garden. Look at these flowers. This guy grows them every year. Although I hear he used to do vegetables, but he doesn't do them now because he grew so many vegetables he couldn't eat them all. But that is one hell of a nice garden. Doesn't it just make you feel good? Here's some examples of the foliage turning. Look at that. I don't know how well you can see that against the bright sky, but that the whole place will be that color soon. Here's one of the leaves that turn. Look at the color on that. If I don't walk back now, I'll have just as far to walk back as I go, so it's been a nice, decent walk for me. haven't been hit by a car yet. Oh! To go back to Polo. Huh? There we go.
There we are, ready to
big
go.
Big red truck. Oh, I love the big red truck.
1952 Ford F3,
Wow.
3/4 ton.
3/4 ton?
Yes, that's
what it will hold.
Well, that's the
That's
weight
not-
classification.
Really?
No, classification how much it will hold. That's how much it'll carry. Which most pickups are half ton.
Yeah. I love the red on this thing. That is a red.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's a little dusty today, but priorities didn't allow me to wash it.
We're going back to Polo for the second day in a row.
That's right. See how many chuckers we can go to. You gotta grab your seatbelt when you have a chance.
I will. I was 12 years old when this car came out. And I think of it, oh, well, that was just yesterday. But no, it wasn't. It's like 70 years ago.
We're going out to Polo again. Yes. Gotta see how many chuckers we can get there.
Yeah.
That's right. Get to see.
Guess where we are? Yeah, we're back at Polo. I really enjoyed it yesterday, so I'm glad that we came back. We came back because there were supposed to be more players today, and it does look like there's a lot of players out there. So we'll see, okay?
The score is 7-7. Tie score.
That's trouble.
What's a horse good for? I mean, while you're playing, before they tire out.
At the top level, it's like 3 minutes.
Really?
Here, it's towards the end of the checker. They just get tired.
Yeah. You can tell when your horse is getting tired, right?
Yeah. You slow down.
They're breathing heavy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You get really sweaty.
Good job.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Come on. Thank you.
Nice tradition.
It is.
Is that a tradition?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Rather than the players, the fans get it.
The fans get a hello.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're through. Time to go back.
Here comes another one. These are the leaf people, they're called?
Yes.
Yes.
They come to visit every fall.
They come to visit every fall. Those are not leaf people, those are just people walking down the street. There's a mother and daughter.
70 years. Right? Because 52 and 60, 50, 60. No, it's 70. 70 odd years. 72. 60, 76,
Well, comes another day. And it's our last day here. We're getting on the plane in a couple of hours. And maybe it's not a bad idea because look at the weather. But it's been beautiful for the last couple of days, at least partially on the second day. And out when we were looking at the polo, it was very nice. But when it's like this, you don't mind leaving. Video. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay.
We really appreciate it.
Enjoyed it. Have safe travels.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
There we go. Okay. How would you sum up the weekend?
It was nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, looking forward to going home.
What did you enjoy most about it?
Being with Adrian and Charlie.
Yeah. Mine was polo.
Polo was good.
Polo was fun. The second day was better than the first day.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're sitting in the airport now for a long wait for our plane to take off. And we'll get back to our iPhones.
Yeah.
As soon as I sit in my seat, look what I'm faced with. And that's our little trip. I hope you weren't bored by it. You know, I usually, whenever I go away and take trips, I take video. And when I take video, I then come back and try and put it into some form that isn't going to totally bore people to death. So I hope you enjoyed that. A bit much of polo, but that's what we did. You know, 2 days of going out there and watching these people play polo. Not a lot of time. The second day was better than the first day because the people playing were playing. First day we were out there, they were just kind of batting the ball around, you know. And then the second day, they were really going at it. They were really having a match, and it's kind of hard to shoot though because on an iPhone, this is what it was shot on. Okay, you don't have a very easy time of zooming in on stuff. Although in 4K, it maintains a lot of its a good picture. But I had to like move my fingers like this in and out in order to zoom and so on. Something that you can do with a camera much easier than you could do with that. But that's what we did. And the whole thing was shot on the iPhone. And then I came back, and the hardest part of it was taking the video off of the phone, because I had to get I said, okay, these are all the frames I want, all the pictures I want offloaded onto my desktop, or not the desktop, but the iPhoto program they have, and that took a while. That took quite a while. Took about I don't know, a half hour, 45 minutes, something like that, and then I had to take those pictures and put them in a folder on my desktop, and that took about 3 hours. So if I went to Europe and shot the whole thing on an iPhone, the biggest job would be offloading the shit. So, you know, that's my my problem. But I hope you enjoyed it. You know, it gives me something to do. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. I'm going nuts. I can't. I'm not the technician I used to be. I find that I'm starting to lose my skills. I get a little flummox and wondering why certain things don't happen. Anyway, the lines are open. We didn't have very many callers last night. We had 2 callers. They were great. They were Tom Yamaguchi, who always comes to my rescue when people aren't calling or when Phil isn't here, and Jeff. And I don't know where the rest of you were, but we had a nice time of it. But it makes me rethink whether I want to keep doing this or not, you know. And what's happening to our country and so on makes me rethink whether I want to stay in this country. You know, I'm not getting any younger, I'm getting older, but, you know, nothing's necessarily going to prevent me from leaving this country if it gets to be too much of a problem. Where would I go? Anywhere that's more civilized than this country has become. We have turned into a real ugly place. You know, excuse me if I have a certain amount of depression going where that's concerned. I just don't want to get into it. I just am so tired of it. One of the things that makes me want to stop this program is that because of what's going on, you've got to talk about what's going on, and I am just absolutely sick of it and distressed over it, and the fact that we even have to discuss this kind of thing is absurd. It just shouldn't be that bad. And here comes Phil Meyer and Ray Renati. First we'll go to Ray, and then we will answer Phil. And there we go. There's the two of them. Let me... there they go.
Oh, God, no.
What? What? What do you mean, oh, God, no?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, no. Go, oh, God, no. Why not?
Phil.
Yeah.
Phil.
Hey.
Yeah, well, you could have called last night, and there was no Phil, but you didn't. You know,
I couldn't. I was working.
Oh, well.
I watched it though.
Yeah. Well.
On the way home.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, it was just two Jeff and
Jeff and Tom.
And Tom, right?
Tom and Jeff.
Tom and Jeff show.
Yeah. Yeah.
How you doing, Phil?
Hey, I'm doing just fine.
Cool.
I had photography last night, and it was a nice evening.
Mm-hmm. Did you win again?
I didn't submit anything. I didn't have time. I just.
So I was beginning to think you were the bully of the camera club.
Only in basic.
Yeah.
But I have other duties when I show up. I'm now an officer in the club, so I'm the guy that everybody hands their picture to. I have to organize them and then present them to the judge, and so it's an integral part of the evening. So
boy, that's really sounds interesting.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do it, and nobody else raised their hand. Actually, they just asked me if I wouldn't mind helping out, and then all of a sudden I got this crazy position where in the afternoon I have to download like 70 pictures, and it's a very complicated download. But I'm getting it. I don't have to call for help anymore.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I was thinking about what you were saying, Alex. The new Skype may present a benefit. You know, if a full house is 4 people, or you control who speaks when you have just 4 people showing.
No, I can't. I can't control who speaks.
Nobody can speak unless you call on them.
No, what do you mean? Of course they can speak.
No, if you use the new Skype and you have a minimum number of people.
No, you can only put 4 up full on the full screen, but meanwhile, all the other people are still there, represented as little round bubbles, which I can then bring.
You don't understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you take more control of the show so that nobody talks unless you invite them to talk.
What do you mean? They'll talk anyway. I'm not going to tell them to talk or not talk.
That's up to you. I gave you a suggestion. You can take the suggestion and you can shove it up your ass if you don't want it.
It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. No, that would ruin the spirit of discussion.
Yeah, it would make it more controlled, more like a radio show.
Well, but, no, I never controlled talk on my radio shows. I did very loose call screening to begin with, you know.
I know I call screened for you, but I would say
not in the you did in the very early years. Later on, all my screeners were told let anybody on who wants to come on.
I just all I did was I figured out who was the funniest, and I told you to take that line. You know, that was.
Yeah, but the new Skype is. I just may not even put up with it. You know, from what I understand, I'll still be able to use the old Skype. You know, for a while. But if I ever like lose it or it somehow gets the new one gets downloaded without me asking or whatever, I'm stuck with it because I don't think I can download the old one. Although I know places I can go and download it. Yeah. So that's not a problem. But
I just got an email.
Wait a minute, and I can do it. I can make it work. I mean, I have a program that allows me to use the screen, but the whole thing is so much more cumbersome to get to. Like, it's a thing called NDI, and I bring it up, and I don't know if I've got a picture of you guys until somebody calls, and then it activates. You know,
this is your new tech.
Yeah,
I listened to your show yesterday.
Yeah,
and it was a nice show. It was relaxed and easy, and nobody was yelling at anybody.
Yeah,
it was just right. Very pleasant.
That's right. So, you know, and tonight this might be the only two people I get to. In which case, I ain't going to be here tomorrow night. You know,
what is going on? Is there anything happening in the world that people are occupied?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of.
Oh, we love you. We're here.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There weren't any baseball games on last night, or football games, or whatever. But
yeah,
But I did get an acquisition today.
What did you get? Oh, your new watch? It's out of the picture. I can't see it.
Here.
Now I can see it. Now I can see it.
Let me see here. Let me bring it in. Oops, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Come on. Go down. Hold on. Wait a minute. See? Well, first I'll show the people out there.
Okay, you show the people.
Yeah, and then I'll show you.
The band.
I'll show you.
Yeah. The band that you got looks more comfortable than the band that I have. Mine has this plastic band, and it feels like a cheap
Well, because I bought this band, and you can buy them from. No, I don't want to turn the Apple Watch off. Jeez Almighty! I just want to get rid of this. Dismiss. But this is it's bigger and larger and
kind of like me,
huh?
Bigger and larger.
Wait a minute.
They're talking about my stomach.
Let me get rid of these things. There we go. But I love that. People can see that. I'll show that to that camera, and then I'll show you guys. Hold on a minute. Let me get it going again. See?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So the screen looks the icons look larger.
Nothing is large there. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
it's screen. Isn't that nice? That's just one thing, and of course the other screens. It's just it's a much nicer looking operating. On the screen. Oh, come on, jeez Almighty!
Well, I tell you,
there you go, folks. There's
it's
Mickey.
A black screen right now.
Oh, really? Here we go. Come on.
That's another thing that I'm not crazy about.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It's cute.
But it looks better now. It's much better. And this is the cellular, so I can take phone calls on it. And the thing is that it's pretty loud. They improve the volume coming out of it by about 40%. So that listen.
So good night, pal. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But now your conversations aren't private.
If I want them to be, I guess I use the Bluetooth. Right. Hello, Rob.
Good evening. How's everybody?
Yeah. So anyway, how I got this watch was, if you go online, they'll tell you it'll take 4 weeks for them to get it to you. But if you keep checking, every now and then, you just go, I want to pick it up at a store, and then it says, like, no stores have it right now. And then all of a sudden, you'll see 2 stores have it. and Fifth Avenue and the West Side had it, so I ordered it immediately and went down to 330 today and got the goddamn thing. You know.
Wow. Fifth Avenue, is it near the Trump building? Trump Tower?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nothing.
Which one did you get?
I got the full deal. $661 with the protection, you know, and the taxes.
Does it come with a condom?
No. Yeah, this is the 44 screen.
Yeah.
And it's let's see here. It's cellular.
So other than the cellular and the little bit larger screen and the better audio, is there much of a difference?
Yes, if I'm on a ladder and I fall down because I'm 78 years old, it will call 911.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it should do? It should say, "Don't get on the ladder."
Yeah, it probably should say, "Don't get on the ladder."
Which band did you get with it?
No, I have my old band. My old band still works with it. This is my how much did it cost? About $15.
Yeah, is that one of those?
Online?
Yeah, I have mine. Mine has. I don't use the Apple band anymore. I hated that rubber band.
Well, the new one,
funky,
the one that came with this phone is a little better. It's a lot like this, you know, like the chain version. But what happens is Apple sells the chain, this version, right?
Yeah.
And they charge
metal?
They charge they charge $150 for it. These guys make it and sell it for $15, and it's just as good. You can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Plus the tariff now.
Yeah, plus the tariff. The tariff on this.
Did the tariff affect you buying the watch? Was there tariff?
No, it was still a high-priced item from Apple.
Yeah.
By the way, I saw their X today, while I was down there. Oh boy.
A friend of mine told me the camera is really superior to the 10, to the original 10. I have the original 10.
They're the same pixels.
No, he said that it's an even better camera than.
I'll tell you something. This camera is fine. Okay, yeah. I mean, I defy anybody, and when I blow this thing up on a 4K screen, some of the footage from it, I defy them to tell the difference between that and the next camera. You know, in other words, most people's eyes won't be able to notice the difference.
I was happy with the camera from the 6, but you know what happens with the 10 is that it's got more megapixels, and when you go to email a photo, sometimes you can't do that many.
Oh, I blew up when I shot the video that I ran earlier. I zoomed in on stuff and didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm perfectly happy with it, you know. But that's not what I'm probably going to shoot with if I go on vacation to Europe, because it's impractical. I would be able to shoot everything with it. It's just the amount of time it would take me to offload it onto my machine. It's not terribly speedy.
Now, didn't Rob get a new 10? Yeah. So you got the new one.
Yeah.
Is that the Max?
7 before.
No, I didn't want the Max.
Yeah.
It's too big for me. I like a smaller phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a lot like the X I have. They just did a few improvements on it and tweaked it up, and you know. But you know, the 10 I got I'm very happy with it. You know.
Yeah. You know, it's I'm happy with it too. I just don't understand why they didn't call the new one the 11 or something.
It's not really called the 10.
It's the X, yeah.
It's called the X, and so there's the XS and the XM and the X this and the X that, the XR. So the X simply denotes, I guess, that it has facial recognition and all the things that the X has. You know. Hello, Brian.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of road noise.
You have a little bit of road noise, so why don't you put yourself on mute when you're not talking to us? You know. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you. You know, I liked my I like my Apple Watch a lot. I had it for about 2.5 years, and I really liked it. And so I figured, you know, this thing, good idea. I'll get a new one. And this thing is much better. The resolution is better. The larger screen, I can read the fonts better. It's a much. It's taking the Apple Watch idea and moving it to where it should be in pure practicality. So
what'd you do with the old one?
It's sitting in a drawer here. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Sell it.
Huh? Yeah,
Sell it.
I might sell it. Yeah. You know, I don't know how you sell something like that, but
eBay.
eBay.
Now, Marjorie, does she wear one?
Yeah, she has one. I got her one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just sold my 7S on eBay yesterday.
How much did you get for it?
$275.
Really? Because I have a 6S.
That's what I'm going to sell next.
Let me know what you get for it.
I will.
Okay.
Do you hear as much road noise now?
No.
No.
Okay, good. I'm using a headset.
Yeah. No, it's fine, as a matter of fact. Anyway, and it has some wonderful new watch faces that are only for this watch. You see that? I got Marjorie's face in the middle of it. Yeah. Oh, it's very large, and they do a lot of these things rounded, so it looks on your wrist like it's a round wristwatch. But they can do that because of the size. The size is just it's better, and the resolution is much better than the old.
Well, maybe a phase. The one I tried using is a 38, not the.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
I have a question though that's not in any way, shape, or form related to the tech talk you're engaged in right
Good,
now.
I'm glad.
Hopefully, Renee is listening, or Charlene even, or Diane. They can weigh in from a female perspective. But relationship-related question, and it just happened like less than 20 minutes ago, as has been systemic in my life for like the last 10 years, especially since 11 years now, since I came out of the closet. But why is it that people find it so fucking difficult to make a decision, a yes or no decision? You want to plan something or don't you, and then they don't respond to you ever. With either a yes, I'm interested, or no, I'm not, or especially no, I'm not interested. If you're not interested, simply fucking say so. How fucking hard is it to make a fucking decision? Rather than just sit on your ass and not shit on the pot.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Maybe they're afraid you're a mass murderer or a serial killer.
Hold on a second.
They don't want to.
Hold on a second.
I'm asking a serious question.
Well, what I'm saying to you is, what happened to make you so mad and make you ask this question?
Well, what happened to make me so mad was that this just happened again in like the last 20 minutes. I planned on calling in because I haven't called in yesterday or the day before on account of the fact that I was exhausted and I just was plumb ass asleep. But this just happened like 20 minutes ago. Actually, it's been a continuation, a culmination of things from yesterday evening. Asked a question, when were you available? What is your schedule like, work-wise, and when are you available, free time-wise? I was told by the other person I'm off Tuesday and Thursday of next week, and I said, does Tuesday or Thursday work? Let me know. Okay, time passes about 4 hours. I ask again, is Tuesday good or Thursday? Okay. Flash forward into 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock the next morning, and I say, let me know, and that's the last time I say that. And then flash forward to just 20 minutes ago, no response. I noticed that the person's been online off and on, and we've seen each other offline because he's local. And I just, I'm seething right now, but I'm not like bombastic. Contrary to how I portray myself on this venue, I'm not really that bombastic. I get sarcastic and mean, as was the case with my response 20 minutes ago when I finally just said, you know what, I'm done playing these games with people like you, and just blocked his ass.
Well, let me say this, Brian. It won't calm you down, but maybe it'll give you some insight. You can't be responsible for other people's being assholes. You You can't be responsible for that. You can't take it personally, and you can't be responsible for that. Some people are just fucking assholes, you know? And if you wrote me, and even if I didn't want to go out with you, okay, I would give you the courtesy of a reply, you know?
Right.
And if I was really chicken and I didn't want to meet up with you, but I didn't want to say I didn't want to, then I'd make some excuse why I can't, you know? But that's me, because I won't let people keep hanging.
Is there a possibility that this guy really isn't available? You know, like, you know, he's, you know, maybe in a relationship, or there's some
advertised
other
himself
factor?
as single. Otherwise, I wouldn't approach the issue, unless they're polyamorous or something like that. And all, you know, my what's the word I was using before? Tenement. That of all parties agree to it or whatever,
well,
then
yeah, it's nice to know.
I'll still approach the issue, but
it's nice to know that whether you're gay or straight, people still are fucked up like that.
Yeah,
You
I was
know?
thinking the same thing.
You know,
See, when I would ask-
you can take a straight relationship, you can take a gay relationship, you can talk about the problems in those things, and
It's
they're
like the kid
interchangeable,
thing.
absolutely interchangeable, because human nature is human nature.
no, it's the fucking truth.
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
but-
when I would never get a response, because I ask a woman for her number, she give me her number, and it's really the rape clinic, and so I was never able to get through.
Well, you know what, Phil? All kidding aside, that happened once to me. I was given a number; it was just a wrong number, deliberate.
That's never happened to me.
Number cannot be found. It is not available. Please try your call again. This was like a number of years ago, and
This never happened to me. I never had that problem.
When you were dating, there were no phones.
But when I was dating, there were no girls.
Yeah.
You know.
women.
Huh?
I was finishing your thought for you, Alex, half jokingly.
Yeah.
Said there were no girls. There were just women.
They were just women. Yeah. Yeah. But you know, you just I know you sound really pissed off because you felt you had to talk about
believe
it.
me.
You know, calm down. You know, it's not your fault, and you can't be responsible for other people's bad deeds. You know, you're not an asshole. They are. Continue not.
I'm an asshole. I just admitted.
Continue not being an asshole. Okay.
You know,
otherwise you'll turn out to be Brett Kavanaugh.
The future could always hold better things for you. Maybe this person didn't deserve your company, and that tomorrow you'll meet somebody new that'll be 10 times better.
Well, regardless, thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, but that's also, you know, he's not sitting there living with the expectation that tomorrow he's going to meet somebody that's going to make up for it. He may, but he's not living with that notion.
I was just going to say, give a neutral response to that, Alex, by saying, regardless of whether I find Mr. Wonderful or not, the bottom line is my time is fucking valuable. Can I
give you one piece of advice, and I want you to take this to the bank.
Go ahead.
No matter what happens, don't try women. Okay?
I've heard plenty of horror stories from that.
Yeah.
Not from you, but from a fuck ton of other men.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it would be like to be single right now. You know?
Oh, yeah, right. I mean, you know, it is not a good thing to be single today, and you almost have to, before you go out on a date, have them sign a prenup. You know.
What? A prenup? Yeah.
Prenup. I don't plan to, you know, tell the world you raped me. You know, I'm gonna whatever. So
they don't hold, because Trump does that, and he even pays $130,000.
No, that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
One is a gag order.
Well, it's a double gag order, because what they do is they think the fact that they did fuck him, and then they gag.
Oh my God, I did it with Trump.
I don't even know what. Well, I could see, all kidding aside, again, I could see why women would be attracted to Donald J. Trump circa 1970, whatever.
Yeah.
Or even the early 80s.
I still think he was kind of
early to mid 80s.
I think he was kind of creepy then too. You know, I could never see.
Well, I could see that too. Why he would why you would think that. He has that vibe.
You know, it's funny about Trump, and I don't want to get any big discussion about him, but in all the time that I was in New York, I never thought much about him. You know,
Most
he was
New
just,
Yorkers don't.
huh?
Most New Yorkers don't.
Yeah.
Now we
Yeah,
do.
now they do. Yeah,
Unfortunately,
exactly. Now they do.
You know.
Yeah,
But,
Yeah, he was a nothing, you know, when he was in New York. He built some buildings. He, you know, it's like
he made a profession
you know, it was
out
like
of
Harrods.
He made
you
a
know?
profession of seeming like he was successful.
His
Yeah.
tower was subject to a number of FBI wiretaps as well. And I learned this information from an audiobook I downloaded on Audible that goes into great detail concerning the 5 New York families.
Ah, yeah. Well, yeah, the 5 New York families. They were the Gambinos.
Yeah.
I always remember. I remember the names of the 5 families by the acronym I've come up with, which goes "Big gamblers can get lucky" or "Big gamblers
Okay, so
cannot get lucky."
Gambino,
Bonanno?
Luciano? No.
The
No.
Bonanno family?
Bonanno, Gambino, Colombo,
Mm-hmm.
Genovese,
Right.
and Lucchese.
Wow. Good.
And then, of course, there's D. Cavalcade, or however you pronounce that name, in New Jersey, that the Sopranos were heavily based off of.
Yeah. Okay. So good. You're very good. You're very knowledgeable about that sort of thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
You think that would be a Jeopardy question?
Well, if it
Name
ever
the 5 families.
if it ever is, he's going to win. You know.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure. But anyway, so I'm
surprised. Though I'm surprised. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm surprised that I think the Luciano family metamorphosized into, I can't remember if they metamorphosized into the Gambino or the Genovese, or maybe both, because Luciano was the guy who's credited for having created the 5 family structure as it's known today, because beforehand it was just a madhouse.
Listen, I want to try something here, if you don't mind, Brian. Phil, you know my phone number, don't you? Don't say it. Give me a call. Let me see if I can talk to you through my phone.
All right.
I did this earlier to Marjorie, calling her, but I never had somebody call me, because all of a sudden I'm not very popular with those spam callers any longer.
Oh man, I've been getting them like crazy.
Why are you upset about that? I was just going to say.
Well, oh, here we go. Wait a minute. Well, what? Okay, there we go. Let me answer it. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
And I can hear you. Let me just turn the phone up just more. Yeah, can you hear? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, it's not going through my microphone too, is it?
No.
I don't know how to use the mute on that.
No, but they can hear it on the microphone here. But the fact is that what's great about this is they raised the volume about 40%, so that I'm sitting here talking to you and I can hear what you're saying, just by holding it like this.
Well, that's fantastic.
And how does it sound? How do I sound to you?
It sounds just like you're on an iPhone.
Yeah.
It's excellent quality.
Yeah. So this is great. So I can answer the phone now and talk to people with my.
I think
with
there's
my
one
watch.
in my future.
I feel like fucking Dick Tracy.
Can you, hey Alex, can you answer your phone if you're out and you leave your? Can you answer your phone with your watch?
Okay,
if
goodbye.
you're out?
I want to hang up. Hold on a second. I want to hang up on Phil. There we go. Yes. What were you saying, Rob?
Can you answer your phone if you, like, say, go to the gym and you leave your iPhone home? Will your phone ring on your watch?
Oh, absolutely. This is a cellular watch.
Okay, so
that's one of the reasons I bought it, because one day I went, well, who needs it? I always have my iPhone with me anyway, right? And then I went to the gym and forgot my iPhone. And I went, gee, I wish I had that other watch now, and it's, at $10 a month, it's $120 a year. I say, what the hell? Why not?
Now, can you listen to like books on tape or?
I was tonight's through the cellular. Okay.
Yeah.
without the iPhone, I was listening to some of the stuff I have up on the cloud. Although somehow my Frank Sinatra stuff wouldn't play. It didn't find it on the cloud, but most of the other stuff it did find. And I was playing music and listening to it from the cloud. I could walk down the street and hear my music without having it on the, coming off of my iPhone.
By chance, it knows and it has a copyright issue with maybe the Frank Sinatra stuff?
No, because I got a lot of other stuff up there. It just seems to whatever I have in my iTunes, I think it copies up there, but somehow those items didn't go up there. I don't know why. I don't know what the problem is. So, what the hell? But what I'm saying is, if I want to listen to some music and I don't have my phone with me, I can do it.
But, Alex, this is Alex. Just a recap from before. I'm not pissed off that I'm not pissed off when I get rejected. It's that I'm pissed off that this people like this cocksucker won't shit or get off the pot.
But they keep you hanging. I know. I've had. I think we've all had this thing happen, except Tony. He's never gone out with anybody.
My mother keeps me hanging every night. I swear I want to give her all the pills out. She bangs on the floor. Man,
oh, by the way,
Brian, like Alex said earlier, you can't let other people's way of doing business affect you. You can only be who you are.
See, sometimes that's good advice.
If those people aren't going, the other people aren't going to be the kind of person that you would be. You can't let it affect you.
You can't judge people based on who you are. Everybody is different.
Exactly.
Like in my family, there's a lot of people I don't like to talk to because I hate them, really, because I just don't like them.
Oh, I believe everybody has.
I just don't even bother with them anymore.
Everybody has people in their family that they feel that way about. By the way, I'm
even worse because they're related to you by blood. This cocksucker I just got done with. I sever all ties, and I never have to look at him. I may run into him in passing down in the city of Pittsburgh every once in a great while. But unlike Tony and unlike members of my own family, they are still members of my own family, and I unfortunately are related to them by blood.
Like I might be able to do like some people in my family. Like if I don't see them. And then when you see them again, you say to yourself, oh, shit, I really don't miss these people, I tell my brother. It's like, I don't mean it in a bad sense, because I don't like to use the word hate, because I like to joke around a lot. But it's like Alex said, maybe you can't put so much pressure on other people. Like, you can't really...
You can't be...
Like, if some people are assholes,
what I've often said, and I think...
That's because you're lighter tempered than I am, Tony.
I think Rob would agree with me on this. You can't be responsible for the actions of other people.
Exactly.
That's it. Plain and simple. You have no control over them, and you have no responsibility for them. And if they're assholes, then they're assholes.
Yeah, that's a good
And let's say the guy called you tomorrow and said yes.
Yeah, what happened then?
Because he's been avoiding you for so long, do you really think this is somebody you want to go out with?
That's a good point.
Maybe.
Oh, he can't now because there's no way he can get in touch with me.
Okay.
I told you I blocked his ass.
Yeah. By the way, I have a new drug now that I'm taking.
What I do, I build walls.
Okay, I have a new drug that I'm taking. This one is gabapentin. Now, I tried this once before, and I thought it made my feet feel worse.
Oh, you were saying you had a problem with the feet.
But I think that was just coincidence, because I took it last night, and it was fine, and it didn't. I didn't feel bad this morning. It made me drowsy enough that I went to sleep, and so he told me to take like 3 of them a day. And see what happens. So I'm going to start taking. I'm going to take 2 tonight, and I'll take 3 tomorrow night, and see how it works.
Is that a lot?
But the thing is,
grab a chiropractor.
What?
That pill called grab a chiropractor.
Oh yeah, fuck. No, but the thing is that when I get on a new drug, I then go online to see what the side effects are.
Oh yeah, I should do that for you.
Are you ready for the side effects on this one?
Go ahead.
Abnormal eye movements that are continuous, uncontrolled, back and forth, or rolling.
Let's take a look at his eyes. They look pretty good. Well, now you
clumsiness or unsteadiness.
No, you're pretty steady, Alex.
Yeah.
So Alex said he would do the
Only when Phil gets dizzy there a little bit.
Okay, then let's see here. Constipation, followed immediately by diarrhea.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how do you have two contradictions, two side effects? One is constipation and one is diarrhea. Like, make up your fucking mind. Right? Difficulty speaking. Do I sound okay tonight? Am I slurring my words at all? Okay. Let's see here. Drowsiness or tiredness, dry mouth, nausea, vomiting. Now, my question is, when you see these side effects listed, is that just because the lawyers told them to say so?
What's that?
Or do
you get suicide and death?
Well, the other one I got suicide. This one I don't. There's not suicide.
All right.
You know. So anyway, so I every time I look at side effects, I go, why are people taking this shit? You know. But so far, so good. But one night, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Are people taking that shit? I could surmise an answer for you. The answer I surmise is so that they have, because people have an atavistic desire to prolong their miserable lives longer than they are naturally intended.
No. You're wrong, Brian. I need it because I just would like a little relief from the pain that I get from it. Okay? It's from the nerve pain. That's all I care about. I don't care if my feet are numb. No big deal. At my age, every old guy I talk to says he has numb feet, you know. So I that's not the problem. The problem is the nerve pain, and I would like some relief from that. And
that could be a problem, though, if you're in your 70s and you want to continue driving great distances for, money.
Well, no, driving is not a problem. This drug I take at night, and by morning it's not causing me drowsiness. I was peppy all day today. Look, I bought a watch for $616 on a pensioner's income.
You're worse than me.
I finally found out how much we have to pay in taxes, and we really bit a big bullet this year, because I suddenly realized, thank God for the economy the stocks going up. I had to pay all kinds of money this year, taxes on the money that I made off my Vanguard account. And Marjorie had to pay more money because the rent where she's renting the apartment, when she raised the rent, so she had more money coming in. Now, I just think that when you hit 75 years old, the government should say, hey, so no more colonoscopies, because that's what they stop at 75, and you don't have to pay taxes anymore.
That would be good. My mother.
You know how I screwed up?
How?
I used to have a house, and I used to have a lot of deductions, interest deductions. Well, I never changed the number of withholdings that I had at work, and so I got hit with an $11,000 tax bill.
See? Yeah.
Wow.
Why didn't you change?
I can't understand why we just don't simply pay taxes on what we buy.
Actually, that has been proposed, that we have a sales tax, and if you spend a lot of money on stuff, you should pay a sales
Republican
tax.
Steve Forbes among other people.
Yeah, there's also another thing. We could get along without taxing people. The individual income isn't a big money maker for the government. A lot of other things are, like businesses and so on. And I say, make business pay through the nose. Let's take care of and just not give the common individual, you and me and Phil and Rob, make it so we don't have to pay taxes. Let these businesses pay the taxes. They get the biggest benefit out of this country. We don't get them. What benefit are you getting being an American? Come on.
See my new
I'm
watch?
trying to figure it out. I get to pay taxes. That's it.
Yeah, especially when you're being told what you can't do that isn't really harming other people.
What is that, Phil? Is that the ankle bracelet you had to put on for that skate?
Yeah, this is my new dive computer. and you wear it on your wrist.
That doesn't look like an ankle brace. Imagine it's a compact.
How much did that cost?
He's selling rugs under the table.
$1,500.
You're paying taxes to a government that tells you no, you cannot snort cocaine.
Hmm.
Well, who are you harming in doing that?
Well, all I'm saying is that I think that that the businesses should be pay through the nose. I think that they have to have the biggest benefit in this country, and we should not have to pay taxes.
Well, we should be able to get the same write-offs.
You know, we didn't have to pay taxes till 1920.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know why they?
That's why
You know why?
people
You know why they?
I use Nixon to pay me with cash.
Do you know
No
why
more
they?
check.
Do you know why they started
This is
taxing?
money to me.
You know why they started taxing?
Why?
Because
Robber barons.
because prohibition.
Liquor?
They lost all the income from alcohol.
You see
And
how
so-
stupid they were? They should have just kept it legal.
I thought we didn't have to pay an income tax
Let's
until
get drunk.
1918 or 19.
Yeah, that's what I said. About 1920. Yeah, and they came up with income tax as a way of making up for the money they weren't going to get from alcohol sales.
Well, now they don't want to give it up.
And then
of
when
course.
prohibition was finished, they didn't stop with the taxes.
Of course.
You know.
Greedy
That's a
fuck
great
that
thing.
they
I
were.
can make money.
Yeah. I got this on Tuesday. This part goes around your chest and it monitors your heart. This thing connects to your regulator and sends a signal without a hose.
And the other part tells you when you're dead from a shark.
God almighty.
I thought
Got
earlier.
shark repellent.
It seems like Ray is actually working on something right now.
Yeah.
What are you working on?
I'm just trying to get rid of my email.
Really? Anything
But-
interesting? Anything you want to share?
No, I just got thousands of email in my Gmail box, and I can't stand it anymore.
Get a new account.
No, I'm just deleting everything.
I hate
Trying to-
Gmail. I got Gmail
I hate
when
I haven't deleted
Here's
anything
what
in years.
here's what happened when I left Time Warner or Spectrum as it later was. I lost my email account, which, you know, really there should be a law saying that you have to pay like a couple of dollars a year and you can keep your email account for a while. All right.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
the minute you stop having that, and I went to FiOS, and FiOS doesn't, Verizon, correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, because you have Verizon, doesn't have an email service. So you have to go out and find it somewhere else. What?
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I haven't used the providers and ISV's email service, ISP's email service.
Yeah.
In 20 years. I use Hotmail. It never changes. It's always the same, and that's the end of it. I learned I figured out a long time ago that you were going to go from service to service, and how are you going to get your email from each one of those?
Well, that's why I bought.
Because I've been using Hotmail for way longer than that. I've been using Hotmail for 20 years.
Well, that's why
I use the me.
Wait a minute. That's why I bought an email address, gabnet.net. I actually have gabnet.net.
But you still need some place to host that.
Well, I need some place to host it, but if I tomorrow decide I don't want FiOS anymore or I'm going somewhere else, I don't have to worry about changing my email. I own my email. It costs me about $120 a year, and I own my email, and I can have a couple other people on it too, like, you know, Jack is on it with a Gabnet address, and I get 5 other people for that, and it's fine, you know. Plus, I then have my Apple account, which as long as I guess as long as I
lose video?
Huh?
I thought you lost your audio for a second.
No.
Oh.
What I'm thinking of is where Apple. What is that going through? Is that going through my AT&T? I mean, how am I getting? How does Apple?
Apple has an address, and is it the cloud that it does
Well,
it
it's
in? I
iCloud.
know.
It's me. It's .Mac. It's all of them.
Yeah.
Any one of them you write to. If you write to me at my address at me.com or mac.com or iCloud.com, it will all resolve itself to sending it to me. But I'm trying to remember how I got that, and was it because I guess it was because I had an iPhone.
Yeah, you get that automatically. I think when you sign up for an iCloud account, when you sign up for because I never signed up for a me address, but I have one. I never used it.
Yeah. What were you saying?
Yeah, I have one too.
Yeah, and
I do use it.
I use those. I use those for the stuff where I'm doing business with something, and things come to that address. Although here's the problem with Apple, with their mail. I don't know if any of you have Apple Mail, but
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much spam and spoofing I get through Apple Mail. I don't
Really?
get it through any of my other accounts, but I get it through Apple's mail. And you would think that of all the companies in the world that could guard against this and could, but I've gotten spoofs that were just ridiculous coming from my Apple accounts. So they don't do much to filter it out.
I made a mistake and got a one of those vanity things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dot photography. They have all sorts of things, like you get a dot child molester. I have a dot photography.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you go to sign up for something, and if you use that address, it doesn't they don't recognize the dot photography. They also have dot biz and dot this and dot that.
Listen, here's what's happening here. We're losing audience now because I guess we're not talking about the elephant in the room.
What is Tony getting bigger?
No. It's the whole.
No more than you're getting smaller and fatter, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the pot calling the kettle black.
I worked out. I did cardio for 30 minutes. I didn't know shit.
Well, I got about 6 feet on me, so.
Yeah. Anyway, any comments about the Kavanaugh thing and the FBI report?
What's
today?
going on with that? They're going to vote this dummy in?
I got an email that said that the thing is clear. I mean, I even sent it to you, but I found nothing anywhere that said that there was that the report didn't accuse him of anything, or there's no news
because they're keeping the report secret. It's not to be released to the public.
Nothing. Yeah.
Bitch McCockhold, the fucking turtle boy, wants to keep it private. From what I understand.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I got this email from the White House, supposedly. And I sent it to Alex because it was the only bit of news that I saw which said that Kavanaugh is clear and that there was no
yeah, but this is being interpreted by a guy who's been known to not be very clear himself where that is concerned. Here's the whole problem. I mean, he's going to get
of course
confirmed, and I think it's a shame. I think it's horrible. I even Justice what's his name, Breyer came out today and said this man should not be on the Supreme Court.
Neither should Breyer.
He's not.
I know. He was he appointed by Bush 1?
I think so. I can't remember who, but anyway. The man is not in. Well, the point is that he shouldn't be.
He apologized today for some of his statements.
Well,
he said that.
Why didn't he only did so because he was forced to.
Why didn't he do it a few days ago?
Well, he did it today.
Apologized, dipshit. Kavanaugh apologized.
He's sorry he got called out on it publicly. That's what he's sorry about.
No, I just don't think that that's his normal way of doing business. He's got
his normal way of doing business, Phil, is doing it behind everybody's back and fucking women without their consent, without us knowing about it.
No, his way of doing it is getting drunk first. But anyway,
that too.
Did you know he likes beer?
Yeah, I heard that.
Never drank beer.
How did you find that out, Rob?
Too bad he doesn't like shit. He should be eating it right now.
It's out there. I've heard it. It's buzzing around. He likes beer.
He likes beer. I felt that this report was restrained because the White House put restraints on.
Of course.
That's what the Democrats.
No. That's not what the Democrats are saying. If you look at the report, you have to say they did not ask enough questions of enough people. They did. They did what they were allowed to do, what the White House asked them to do, because you see, the White House orders this up, and then they say what they want and the parameters they want to put on it, and they dictated the parameters, and that's why there are a lot of unanswered questions. But
It's self-policing.
yes. You know.
It's as simple as that. It reminds me of when I worked for the company I worked for once, and we were, you know, I became a whistleblower because of shit that was going on, and I mean the shit was really going on, but who was running the investigation?
Hold on, Brian.
How black were your balls after you blew the whistle on them?
Who's running the investigation but the company? And what is the company doing? Protecting themselves. What is the company doing? Do they really want to dig? No. Till they got their ass sued.
You guys love the FBI as long as they were going after Trump. You love the FBI.
It wasn't the
now the FBI.
No, I don't dislike.
No, the FBI. They were restrained by Trump and his people.
The
It's not the FBI.
The FBI did.
That was what the
Wait a minute. Hold on a second,
They asked for a week.
Phil.
They asked to look at the
Well, they didn't
allegations.
take a week.
That's
they
all.
only took till Wednesday. Okay.
They didn't need to a week.
They didn't need a week given the restraints that we were given.
They didn't need a week because they didn't have anything to do because they were put under. They had their hands cuffed.
I don't.
Come on.
No, you don't believe it, but it's so, Phil. Because tell me.
It's so because you say it's so.
No, it's so because you say it's so, I guess, right? So either way. So this is why this country is fucked.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
This is
I can
exactly
see
why this country is fucked.
I can see why there was a civil war and people killed each other in the 1860s.
And it's coming again. I can guarantee you.
Not
it's
soon
coming
enough.
again.
Not soon enough.
Instead of being north and south, it's red and blue.
Yep.
I'm just
It's
sorry
coming
that I'm
again.
too old to be. I'll never be here to be able to fight in it. You
I'm
know?
not getting drafted. Forget
But
that.
I'll tell you something. If tomorrow people were taking up arms to get this country straight again, I'd be the first one in line.
Really? I wouldn't want to do it. I can't.
He's got two
I don't want
arms.
to kill anybody.
You know, and I don't even own a gun.
Oh, I'd do it. I'd make a list of people I'd want to off first in the name of said cause, but I'd do it.
Don't say that too much on this show because you know, Brian.
He sounds very eager.
Yeah. But
Luckily, he's
I
in
don't even want to go to
Pittsburgh.
work.
Yeah.
You want me to kill somebody?
Boy, Ray is really getting rid of that mail, isn't he?
No, I accidentally deleted all my newest mail, so now I'm really pissed off. Shit. That just
You know,
totally
I
sucks.
want to.
Oh, I can get it out of the
I want to
trash.
get rid
But
of
they
all.
still have to vote the guy in.
Hold
don't
on
they?
a second.
They got the votes to do that. Because everybody
Alex
is
said, hold on a
because-
second.
Well,
Because you heard what Jeff Flake said last week. If he wasn't about to resign and get out of politics, he'd have never been able to pull what he pulled. So it's just it's a good old boys club, and they want this good old boy in there because they like the fact that he's good at drinking games.
yeah, like the Devil's Triangle.
And because let's face it,
Which has nothing to
is
do with
Trump going to
drinking.
be is Trump going to be offended by sexual assault?
Trump doesn't drink.
I didn't say drink.
I know.
Was Trump affected by sexual assault? No. He's been
accused. He's been accused.
Yeah, he's been accused, and please, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't even bother saying anything anymore because it's.
Because you.
I mean, Phil. I mean, all we're doing is stating what the
Brian,
facts are.
listen.
And then you want to have a different story.
Because his facts come from Fox News, right? The bubble.
No, my
Talk
facts
to the wall,
come from
Ray.
my own logic. They come
Lack
from
of
logic.
logic.
Might be the problem right there.
Yeah. Devil's Triangle Wikipedia page changes during Kavanaugh's hearing. So let's
Of course
see.
it does.
I'm trying to find out what a Devil's Triangle is.
I guarantee you on Urban Dictionary it'll remain the same.
We already know what a Devil's Triangle.
Yeah, that's not new. We already know it's a sex threesome.
Male, female threesome.
By the way, Brian,
Devil's Triangle was about
don't
sex.
yell,
Yeah.
okay? because it's kind of, with that phone, it's kind of piercing.
It's overmodulated.
And boofing's an alternate term for butt fucking.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but I'm sure that wasn't what he was referring to.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, it was cute what he was referring to. What? Right? It was cute.
I was in a fraternity at the same exact time as him, and we used to use the word boofing to make fun of people, and it was like, oh, you boofed him. And I mean, of course, everyone knows what it means.
Did you have to pledge? I never was in a fraternity.
Yeah, I did.
What kind of things did they do? Did they haze or?
Totally. Yeah, wake us up in the middle of the night, just put us in a cemetery, and make us walk back in our underwear.
Why would anybody submit themselves to that?
Because you're 17 and 18 years old and you're stupid.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Kind of like Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kavanaugh probably did some very stupid things.
Well, that's exactly what he was doing. I mean, I knew a whole bunch of guys like him.
And
I never got into it. I hated it.
And ralphing means vomiting, but it's because he had a weak stomach.
And in his
he had a weak stomach.
No.
Ralphing
his mom would send him to school with Maylocks.
Yeah, Ralphing is
Right.
Yeah, it's in his lunch pail.
Yeah. Yeah. He would stop on the way to church and then get his lunch, and so he could not get Ralph because,
what's that? The sacrament wine that they have there that they serve at church?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had no choice but to lie. So,
of course.
like when I was in Phi Kappa Sigma fraternity, it was a total animal house.
Yeah.
I played water polo, and that's where all the water polo players were. Mm-hmm. And some of the best players were the biggest drinkers, and they could get up the next morning and play against UCLA and beat them or whatever. It didn't matter when you're young. And a lot of these guys were wild like that when they were younger, and then they grew up to be like good guys. But if they had to do that and talk about it in front of the Senate, they'd all lie. They have to, because otherwise they lose their wife, they lose their kid. He's lying. He has to lie.
Wouldn't the FBI be able to find that out?
If they let him
talk to those people.
If they let him.
They didn't even talk to the people that could tell them that.
They talked to Judge and a number of other guys, this PJ, and they did have his testimony that could have been a, what do they call it, not impeachment trap, but a when you get caught lying.
My question is this: if in fact there is nothing in there that constitutes corroboration, then why is the Senate not releasing the whole document, the whole FBI document, to the public? We paid for it. Sure they do.
Oh, so the other 6 background checks were released to the public?
No, I don't think they were, but they could be.
I heard it's out of the ordinary, but there's nothing to prevent them from doing it.
Yeah. So
that's what I heard.
So if there's nothing in there that they don't want the public to see, why are they not letting the public see it, Phil?
It's a disgrace.
I would imagine the public will see it, because do you think
No, they said they're not going
49 senators are going to they're going to keep their mouths shut?
Well,
you're right. They didn't going to have a hard time.
They didn't sit there and commit it to memory, Phil. They might be able to say, hey, this is in it and this isn't in it, but they can't let you sit down and read it. And the American public would love to read that FBI report.
That's true. They said no cell phones, no pens, no paper.
That's right.
There's something I don't understand here myself. And that is, how is it that these senators can be so confident that their re-elections won't be placed in peril if they go ahead and ramrod through Kavanaugh's confirmation tomorrow?
They have no idea. They have no idea.
No, I think that the Democratic ones that are in red districts, like McCaskill, although she's so far behind, she may not vote for it. It may be her last stand. But I think Manchin from West Virginia may be a yes vote. And
well, then I call him a screaming cowardly asshole. You know,
Well, they all are.
I mean, when you don't,
but he represents
you know,
the people he
if
represents want it.
I
listen,
don't want to call Gene Swearigan to win against Manchin, so don't lump me in with those. Don't lump me in with those corporate.
I don't think. Okay, I don't think that there's a senator there that can't say, "Hey, you know something? I got to tell you, I don't think that this guy is right, and I'm not going to vote for him anyway." And you could be a Republican. I mean, I can't imagine somebody of good conscience who can't say that that performance by him in front of that committee was worthy of a seat on the Supreme Court.
As a Republican, I thought it was.
Well,
how so? I'm just curious.
Then you're an
because
asshole
see,
Republican.
I think the whole procedure that is being put forth by the Democrats is a sham and a delay tactic, and that they used Ford as a pawn, and they outed her. And as far as I'm concerned, there was only two people that called it the way it really is, and that was South Carolina Senator what's his name, Lindsey Graham, and Judge Kavanaugh. And so as a Republican, somebody from the other side, I look at that and say bravo. But on the blue side, I understand that that's not what you want.
No, can I? That is not. Can I say something?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
No, Phil, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think people can be playing games on both sides.
Yeah,
my point is that despite all of that, if this guy did this to Dr. Ford and these other women, whatever games people are playing are irrelevant to me. I don't want somebody like that on the Supreme Court.
I don't
and I am
either.
so tired of having these misanthropes like Bush, who not Bush, who like Trump, who says he's grabbing the pussies and who's done whatever else, paid off Stormy Daniels. Aren't we tired of this crap?
Of course.
And it doesn't matter what the politics is. I totally agree with you that it could all be politics, but if they did it,
there's one thing that's missing.
What?
It's a presumption of innocence. I mean, every
But this
American
isn't a
has it. It
This
doesn't
isn't
matter
a
if it's
trial,
or
Phil.
not.
It's not a
She's a
trial.
totally credible witness. Did you see her?
No, wait a minute.
So
Hold
was
on a
he.
second. Hold on a second.
How was he?
No, he
credible? He
wasn't.
lied.
Wait a
He
minute.
lied through his teeth.
Phil,
There was a lot of people who
hold
said
on,
that
hold
his
on. Will you let
statement
me
was
talk?
credible.
Let
No,
me
he
talk.
lied. It's proof. he
Let me
lied.
talk. Let me talk here. To begin with, stop with this innocence until proven guilty or whatever, because this is not. Hold on a second, Phil. It's not a trial. It is a job interview, and it is a person laying down his credentials and other people going, those credentials aren't exactly what you believe them to be. But it is not a trial, and this whole notion that, what's his name, Turtle Face, what is
Bitch McCockle.
Mitch McConnell, getting up and giving this whole thing about, you're innocent until proven guilty in America. No, that isn't what that whole process was.
Yes, it is.
No, it is them saying it's
you
like
have inalienable rights.
Okay, it's like at a wedding when they
you
say
don't. It's a
anybody.
job interview.
Hold on a second. It's like if you go to a wedding and they say if anybody here sees a reason why these two should not be joined in holy wedlock, speak now or forever hold your peace. And somebody stands up and says, he's an asshole, or he's a this, or he's a that, and I knew, well, it's not a trial, but you were asked, okay? And this is an open forum in which somebody wanted to contribute to the proceedings to give some background on something that had to happen to her at the hands of this person, so you could get a better indication. Hold on a second. So you get a better indication and a look into his morality and into his ability to judge other people.
They did.
No, they didn't. It wasn't a trial, Phil. Admit it wasn't. Admit it wasn't a trial. Admit it wasn't a trial.
It may not be a trial, but there was an accusation of a crime.
There certainly was.
And when there was an accusation of a crime, you are presumed innocent until proven guilty, regardless of whether it's a job interview or anything else.
You're presumed innocent until proven guilty, but you still might not get the fucking job.
Well, that's what the Dems don't. They want to delay it so that they
quit
can.
With this is what the
take over
Democrats
Congress.
is, and this is what the Democrats do. We don't.
They're
going to
get rid of him anyway once they're in because they're going to investigate him. So if they do take over, he's fucked anyway because they want him out.
I have a question for Phil.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Phil.
I wouldn't bank on that, Rob.
Suppose you were hiring somebody to manage your carpet store. And another carpet store guy who's a friend of yours, maybe this is bullshit, would never happen, but called you up and say, I heard you're about to hire this guy. Hey, I wouldn't do that, man. He shits all over the new carpets, and you're going to lose a lot of money.
You know, the funny thing is, Ray,
and you say, oh, I'm not, how do you have proof of him shitting all over the carpets?
The funny thing is, something like that happened a few weeks ago. One of the installers I hired, a competing store called me and tried to tell me that they started to have things missing from their warehouse. And I believe it was just that they had a personal beef with the guy. And because the guy left their employ and came to work for me, they didn't want him to have any work. And so far, the guy has proven himself to be a quality person, and that it was the other store's desire to make sure that he didn't get any work. And so I've seen this happen.
Well, I will be happy. I will be delighted if you go into work tomorrow and everything is gone.
So you're turning my finger out. What if it's somebody you trusted? Okay, whatever example I bring up.
Oh, if it was somebody I trusted,
yeah,
then I probably would have listened to him.
Okay. All right. Well,
and she wasn't credible and trustworthy sounding to you?
God damn, she lives right down the street from me.
She's like a totally... Just because she habitates down the street.
It doesn't matter. I know people who are friends with her. This woman is like totally like not fucked up. She is like a regular
something
human.
Fucked up because, you know, she has things going on due to the remodel that she went through. That's why she had to go to couples therapy.
And she told people about this before she even knew he was going to be running up for this job.
But
you refuse to hear it. You refuse to hear it.
Wow.
No,
you refuse to hear that this woman.
You might as well talk to the wall.
Yeah.
Phil,
you
refuse to recognize that
nobody
this
on
woman.
our side is being accused, Phil. It's not the same thing.
What I'm saying, Phil, is Phil. Hold on a second. What you refuse to realize is that this woman did have problems where things like the remodel of her house was concerned, and they were based upon that which happened to her when she was 15 years old at the hands of this guy. Okay?
Yeah.
Can I answer Rob's question? Now, this is...
No sympathy for that, Phil, right? No sympathy for that?
No.
Oh, I see. Okay. You're
because,
cruel, then.
I mean,
you're a cruel person.
Now, it has nothing to do with good or bad. But for instance, you're saying nobody on the side of the Democrats has any skeletons in their closet.
That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about a Republican process with a Republican nominee who has been accused of something. There's nobody on our side being accused of anything. This side is the accuser. So it's different what you're saying.
But I don't believe the accusations.
So then she was not,
they haven't been proven.
Everybody, even the fucking president who loves to grab pussy, said she was credible.
Until the other night, then he made fun of her.
His handlers. I don't think he believed that.
Oh my God!
And yet you go. And yet with all this protestation about guilt, innocent until proven guilty. Then we go to a Trump rally, and they're all yelling, "Lock her up! Lock her up!"
That's Clinton.
Hey, Phil, how do you explain that she told people that Kavanaugh did this years ago? How do you explain that?
Kavanaugh was a big man on campus, and he was a star basketball player and a number of other things. She was a cheerleader. Maybe she just had some issues in her mind. And now they're surfacing.
So now it's just coincidental then that
he's going to go on.
I think international television. She came up with a name.
Time hasn't passed. And For
She knew.
Wait a minute. Let Rob talk, okay?
Time hasn't passed in all these years from high school that maybe when she was a cheerleader and he was the quarterback that he snubbed her. And all these years later, a petty little bullshit thing like that is going to have a woman get on television in front of the world and bare her soul. That makes perfect sense.
I think
now
she was
I understand.
forced.
Yeah, I understand.
I think she was forced to do it.
People bear those by who?
By the Democratic.
Oh, fuck you,
committee.
Phil. Fuck you.
By
Really?
Feinstein
Oh.
and the rest of her things.
It's such an unbelievable. I mean, if you believe
don't
that,
want to hear it. There's another opinion on the table, and that one's mine.
Wow.
But you have nothing. But you have nothing to even back that up.
And neither do you.
Oh, we have.
That's
I
the
just told you a bunch of things to back it up.
Oh,
I just told
she's
you.
a neighbor. Her
No,
friend
that's
said
not what.
so.
Oh my God! You every twist. I said she told people about him years before. Not that she's a neighbor. Who gives a shit? She's a neighbor.
Right.
She lives there.
Obviously, whatever happened that night, Phil, had a great impact on her life.
If it happened that night. She doesn't know that it happened that night. She
says
doesn't know what year it happened. She doesn't know where it happened.
Wait, she knows what year it happened. She knows where it happened, Phil. You're just listening to Trump at his fucking rally doing a tasteless impression of her.
That was terrible.
And he said she doesn't know if it's upstairs or downstairs.
That was terrible.
And she said she knew it was upstairs.
It was upstairs. She could tell what the room was like.
She knew everything. She knew there were people laughing. She knew who else was there. Trump's lying. He said, "Oh, upstairs, downstairs."
She could have been stone drunk. Thought that she was thought that she was accosted.
Why are you blaming her, Phil? Why are you blaming the woman, Phil? What kind of horrible person are you that you're automatically blaming the woman? You're automatically blaming her.
Male or female? She's the accuser, and when you're an accuser, you have to have proof. You have to have collaboration. When you accuse somebody, it's the accuser that needs to be able to prove their
Yes, and
point.
that's what women have been told for years, and that's why. Wait a minute, that's why rape cases have been dismissed because they didn't want to listen to the woman.
And a lot of men have been indicted without witnesses. You can't have witnesses. If the one who was raped is more credible, they often win the case now.
If she's more credible. You believe that she's more credible. I don't believe. I think it's a 50-50.
I don't believe anything.
You told me on this program, Phil. You told me on this program a week ago that you didn't hear her testimony.
No. I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I said no. I heard her testimony.
When?
I said I had to get up and leave several times during the day when I was watching it. I watched it on my phone on my desk, and I saw the entire hearing. But I occasionally had to go back and forth.
But she didn't lie, and when she didn't know something, she said, "I don't know," and she'd ask her.
I understand. I'm not saying she lied. She believes what she believes.
That's the only way you can justify it in your head, Phil.
That it's reality.
That's the only way that you and Republicans can justify that in your head is to say that.
Wow.
Because you want what you want, and again, it's the same thing, and I'll keep saying it. The ends justify.
I said, Rob,
lying, cheating, doing everything that you can do
the other night
to the end game.
Rob, listen to me here. The other night, I said if the FBI found that Kavanaugh was lying, he should not be. He should not move on with the nomination. So far, I don't know whether Kavanaugh lied or not. I don't know what the FBI found or not. But I am willing to wait and put my trust in those senators that they didn't find anything, or they did, and if they did, that they don't vote for him, and if they didn't, then they do, because he's qualified to be a judge.
Good luck with all that, because they're a bunch of cheats, bunch of liars.
No, I don't think so. You still got Flake. Flake. It already went through the committee, but Flake and the other two, Collins and the one from Alaska. Do you think that if they found out that he did molest this woman, or
to begin with, Murkowski is still on the fence.
If I was still going to remain in office, there's no way I could have done this.
But he isn't going to remain in office, and so
exactly. So he's the only
don't you
one.
Think he's going to do the right thing?
We don't know.
No, he's going to do the conservative thing, Phil, because he's conservative. a staunch conservative.
No,
I mean,
and again, it becomes about
we
the
tend to
end
think
game,
of,
and then he'll be able to sleep a little better at night, even though he was accosted in that elevator. You can see it looked like he wanted to climb out of his skin and get out of that elevator any way he could. So by doing this, he still voted for the vote next week. Right? He still voted for the vote, but this way it'll make him feel a little better in his conscience.
He voted for the vote because it gave the week to the FBI to do the investigation.
And he figured that they could doctor up an investigation and narrow the scope. And
now they're doctoring the investigation.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that they narrow the scope. We already know that.
That was because
don't give me the Republican answer, but give me an answer to the question of if you're holding a thing like this, a background check like this, wouldn't you go to Dr. Ford and ask her for some additional information that she didn't give to the people? And how about going to Judge Kavanaugh and asking him?
What I've heard
here we go.
On the news
I want to hear the answer
that
to this.
They had the testimony of both of them, and it wasn't necessary to ask.
But there could have been more that they could have asked her.
Maybe not.
They could have asked, to begin with, she said she was willing to give the FBI her
lie detector test.
Not the lie detector test, the notes from her psychiatry and her psychiatric counseling.
They didn't want that, huh?
No, and the lie detector test only had 2 questions.
Hey, we're not talking about the lie detector test. We're talking about her psychiatric notes.
We're talking about both.
We're talking about the psychiatric notes.
Maybe you need some psychiatric work. You keep getting so angry.
Well, when I talk to you, I do.
So anyway,
Jack has
when
joined
you talk
us.
over people, we all do, Phil.
How can you defend this whole Trump thing, Phil? Did you see him in Mississippi the other night making fun of her? Did you see that? Wasn't that disgusting?
I'll tell you how I can defend it. I don't like what he says. I deplore what he says.
Okay.
But I do like what he does.
So the means defy the ends define the means.
No,
defy the means. It doesn't matter. Any way to get to the end game, all you're doing is destroying the country in the process.
How do you like the latest?
Machiavellian-minded motherfuckery engaged here? The hell you say?
Listen, let me say that we had a story yesterday, and it's a good example of life in the land of Trump. The EPA, which of course they got rid of one crook and they put in another crook, has just announced that radiation could be good for you.
Really?
Yeah, and the way they described it was it's like getting a lot of sunlight. That's what they said.
Make it a suppository for him and shove it up his ass and advertise it on C-SPAN.
Jack called. He obviously wanted to say something, but nobody's letting him talk.
Oh, that's right. I was busy listening to all of this.
Hazarai.
Phil is a prime example of what a good friend of mine says is the real difference between conservatives and liberals. Liberals fall in love with people and issues. Conservatives fall in line.
I think it's the other way around. You look at Pelosi and Schumer and Barbara Lee and all of these people, and then you look at the other 45 or 46 of them, and they're just falling in line.
Barbara Lee never falls in line.
You know where I want to move?
Barbara Lee votes on her. BarbaraLee was the only person who voted not to go and attack Afghanistan and Iraq.
How about Manchin?
How about Trump? He said he didn't want to go and do that either. And he didn't want to go into Iraq.
He wasn't in government.
Yeah.
No, but that's what he said. He was against the war.
What somebody says,
but I was for it.
He was for it.
And what they might have said 15, 20 years ago could be 2 different lies.
That's right.
Yeah. But the only difference between me and Trump is I was for the war. And I thought it was the right thing.
Oh, my God.
So you were wrong then, you're wrong now.
I don't think so.
Yeah, and we certainly...
No, I was wrong.
And I'm sorry, Barbara Lee never falls in line. Barbara Lee completely does whatever the hell she wants. Where are you getting this thing about?
She just chants, impeach 44, impeach 44.
And what's wrong with that?
Barbara Lee does
44
whatever
was
the hell
Obama.
she wants to.
All right, well, anyway, what's wrong with saying impeach Obama, or impeach Clinton, impeach Trump, impeach me? As long as you are...
She's a broken record.
Wait,
and
what's
she's supposed to be representing the people of her district.
And
I
she
was
is.
one of the
And she
people
is
of her
very.
district.
She is very well. You are not. Oh,
You're
look
not
who's
typical of her district, perhaps.
At the last minute, ladies and gentlemen.
I just want to know how you can say she falls in line, Phil. She doesn't fall in anybody's line.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Renee has joined us. Hey, look, Renee. I got the watch.
I was listening to you. You haven't accepted my walkie-talkie request.
Oh, you never sent it.
I did too.
Well, I
You've
never
been on it for 2 days now.
I never got it. I mean,
I'll retry.
you might have had the wrong phone number or something like that. Otherwise, we'd be walkie-talking back and forth. All I have on there is Marjorie. You know.
Got it.
Yeah.
So can you guys see me? Because
Yeah.
I've got some frozen. Yeah. Okay. So the thing that, and I haven't done the math in my head, so somebody's going to have to do this kind of quickly. There's an issue coming up here. A lot of Americans do not have health care, and i.e., most importantly right now is that what I'm trying to say is that they don't have mental health care. All right. And tomorrow we are going to watch the Republicans dance all over our heads, and it's going to be very difficult for real women to accept. And it's going to be very difficult for the men to watch this to happen. So everybody needs to know that there's going to be some venting. I would highly suggest ice cream in the freezer, whatever his or her favorite is. Either a pint of beer or a pint of ice cream, or get the therapist on the line.
You don't work for Haagen-Dazs, do you?
No, I'm saying go for the big stuff.
Look, take out your frustration in the ballot box. That's the best answer.
Well,
Right.
so the whole thing is you have to look at this. What we do best is rant and rave, and as we've been yelling at these people in a nice manner, let me rephrase that. Renee rants and raves. These people actually talk like educated individuals. So they're trying to get their point across, and it's not going to work because Democrats aren't in charge of anything. So the next step is going to be full on what the fuck. So you men are going to be witnessing stuff where you're just going to have to kind of say, you know what, I believe her is the only words that should come out of your mouth, and you're going to have to watch some probably.
Are you
bad
on
behavior.
drugs?
Wait a minute,
I'm serious, Phil.
Jack,
50% of the country is male.
Okay,
you know,
Phil, do you know somebody has their hand up?
Now I do.
Yeah,
I have you
So
big.
sorry for. It's just that it's going to be very difficult for women when because if you think about it, so this is what I was trying to do the math. But former President Barack Hussein Obama was in office for 8 years. So if you count back 8 years to
Jack wants to say
right
something.
before, so maybe high school,
Jack,
you've got a whole group of women who have grown up believing that.
But Jack can't
like what
say
Ray
anything.
has said, what all of you men have said.
Raise your hand again, Jack.
Except for Phil. But
See?
this is going to come
Okay.
down on them hard.
Look who has his hand up, Jack.
I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say to Renee, you remember what we talked about the other night on the intersection. Now, it's not just going to the polls. That's only a quarter of the job. That's only a quarter of the job. Now, what women have to do is what we talked about the other night. Because guys like Phil, the only thing they genuinely respect is when you mess with the money. We gotta go back to that. You know, we need there should be rolling days of mass protest by not going to work.
And you know, that's not a bad idea. I still like that idea, but these women are going to go through a shock, and it's for the men like you guys who love women. It's going to be very difficult, and you're going to see a lot of things that you're going to need help processing.
No,
Renee,
what the men have to do is back you guys up You know, if we go to the point where we have what they do in Europe, where they have general strikes, and we do rolling days of that, and 30-40% of your workforce does not show up, you're going to get the message. And the message that needs to go to Kavanaugh, if he's confirmed, is this is your fault and you need to step down.
Oh my God, do you want this prep ass guy to get religious all of a sudden and step down?
Like they did.
Wait
a minute, hold on a second. On the parody on Saturday Night Live, Matt Damon, when he's playing Kavanaugh, said that he wouldn't do something like that because he doesn't know the meaning of the word stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that, and it goes back to what everybody was saying before. What Rob says.
Unless he's the one saying it.
The ends to the means. It doesn't matter as long they will do everything to stay in control and screw over everyone that they possibly can. And you saw what he did to that female reporter with the smirking men behind him.
And Renee, we have to take the gloves off. The thing that always pisses me off is that lefties believe that there's some kind of mass thing that we can get these people to change their opinion. No.
And they're not going to.
Not going to. We should say, look, you guys set the rules. All right, fine, we'll accept that. But now we're going to play by them too. Let's go for each other's jugular and then get up the next and do it again.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. But I add to it, if they won't let you join them, beat them at their own game.
Exactly.
Hey, Renee, I think you're making assumption about women in this country. There are many, many women who are still going to be submissive to the ideas of men, and you see them, and we're talking basically in the South and parts of the Midwest and these huge swaths of area where
there's no education.
Where they're not going to be on the side of other women, so you're not going to have that.
I completely agree with that.
Jack, let me say something about that. As someone who comes from a group that did that for a long time, when GIs, black GIs, went to World War II, they had a saying, double V, victory over fascism overseas, victory over racism here. But it took those guys coming home after risking their lives, their dignity, and of stories that I could tell you, for them to say, fuck that shit. Now, you take a look. Now, most of you guys are too young to remember any of the news coverage of the civil rights movement in its early days. Luckily, I'm old enough not only to remember it, but to have seen some of it. Mm-hmm. And what folks had to do is say, look, it's bad, but they're not going to get better unless I put my brown ass off the line and take some scarring up.
Okay, thank you very much, Jack. And with that, I guess we are going to bring this whole thing to a screaming halt. First of all, I want to thank Phil for being here tonight. Thank you, Phil. As
You're welcome.
Misguided as you are. Rob Alfano, always good to see you, Rob. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tony, happy birthday to the dog. And Renee, thank you. Ray Renati, thank you. And Brian, you've been driving for the whole hour and a half. Where the hell are you going? You know.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm still in Virginia.
Anyway.
He'll vote there, too. Hey, I'm shooting the Blue Angels tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, so what?
I heard you, Phil, and I still dislike the shit out of you.
Yeah, I hate the Blue Angels. Anyway, everybody, wave goodbye. Wave goodbye. Okay. Okay, they go all waving goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel. Oh, they're going. I got to get my camera on before they completely disappear from the face of the planet. That's it for us tonight. We're through. That's our little ramble for tonight. As life goes on in the United States of America. God, it's horrible. Anyway, listen, Jack's next with The Intersection, followed at 1 o'clock by Connections. Tomorrow night, 9:30, Damian Chaplin.
and then I'll be back again tomorrow night. 10 o'clock, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.